What's up, everybody? This is really an impromptu type of live. I kind of like this vibe. It's kind of giving dark with a little bit of light. So I don't know. I just felt compelled to come on here and talk about this topic. A lot of things are moving me as of recent. I'm just discovering new things. So, one of the things that I hit on before in one of my getting started on YouTube playlists, I do have a full playlist, you guys. If you guys are starting to, create content, and especially here on YouTube, it can cover content as a whole, but I do help those here on YouTube. So if you're just seeing me for the first time, who am I? What do I do? Okay. So I am Sultry Accessory, a digital design coach for aspiring entrepreneurs who feel overlooked, stuck, unsure about starting their brands, right? And I give you guys clarity and confidence to get started in preparation for your online presence. And I do that through YouTube channels and your e-commerce platforms. Okay. So I do have back end services that helps you guys be prepared, not just visually as digital design, but also strategically. All right. So that's who I am. And I actually started YouTube back in 2011. And I just felt called to come back to YouTube and actually teach what it is that I learned about YouTube and how you guys need to see your YouTube platforms and not see it as a hobby, but to actually have strategy behind what it is that you are placing here on this platform. Because what I have noticed and I have realized, it's crazy that I realized this later on. Sometimes in life, we do things and we're just kind of like going through the motions of what we're doing, but like we're not really putting, pen to paper with everything. Like we don't necessarily have a blueprint and what things that we're trying to implement, and thus, gaining the things that we want to see, as results. Okay. So today's topic is about individuality, um and also narcissism, and how I started to kind of see that everybody is really narcissistic. I'm just going to be real, like including myself. Sometimes I'm like, I'm narcissistic, like for real, for real. I'm not really narcissistic, but I am narcissistic. Okay, boom. So this is the conversation for tonight. And of course, like I said, we talk about personal brands and branding yourself, creating your online presence here. Okay. So I previously, so like I said, in my playlist, getting started on YouTube, I talked about how when you're starting to make videos on YouTube, it's about creating a community. It's not about showcasing you per se. It's about creating a community around a topic, around an issue, around a problem, around things that are normally circulating people's lives on a daily basis. Okay. Now, your content does not need to be like mine, where it's educational or it's uplifting or anything of that. You can have entertainment type of content, right? Okay, boom. So, a lot of times, guys want to start streaming, or they want to start content creation themselves. And they're like, I don't want to do no beauty stuff. I don't want to do no lifestyle content. I don't want to do no come with me to Target. Even though I'll be seeing guys low key do that. I'm like, however, I'm not gonna share my little opinion with that because I'm not into that type of content. You know what I'm saying? I'm into I don't know. I feel like the type of content that I'm into is like real life and real life mixed with like psychology type stuff. So I don't know. That's what type of content I like. And like the dynamics between people. I like that type of content. So anyhow, today I want to talk about what it is that I saw today, and then also what I talked about within one of those videos that's on my playlist. And someone was talking about community and how people have lost community nowadays, even though now that we have social media. So I've been seeing on TikTok where this guy was like, man, life would be so much better if we did not have social media. Like if everyone just tuned out of having social media, then life would be so much better. And we'll actually have fun again and have connections with people and however the case may be. Okay. Um, do I disagree with what he says? Not wholeheartedly, but I like the fact that we have social media. I'm just gonna be for real. I'm just gonna be for real, frank and honest. I don't even have a big, following or anything like that, but I like social media. Like seriously, as somebody who designs on a computer and learned this skill when I was 12 years old, I like social media. Like it gives me a chance to express myself um way better, way more fluently than in real life, because someone who's behind a computer um designing things, it's not really translatable in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who does like taxes, or somebody who does like, I don't know, some banking or financial field, you can see what it is that they do in front of you. But someone who does like computer work or design work, you don't really see what they do on a given basis. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful that they have made platforms such as YouTube and StreamYard, because I like how the advancement StreamYard has made YouTube like over the years, right? Okay, there never was, oh, you can record your screen and then people can see what you're doing on the back end of your screen. It's like making it so much more entertaining and so much more visually expressive. So for me, I'm not a person that's like, oh my God, they should get rid of social media. That's so not me. Okay. So here we go. The loss of community and how this ties into individualism and narcissism. Okay. So as y'all know, as we live every day, we have our neighbors and we go to certain schools. We might go to certain grocery stores and we don't know the clerk's name, or they don't know our name. We're not on a name by name basis. You know what I'm saying? Not like how it used to be, right? And some people will actually like familiarize with your face, but they don't necessarily seek you out to be someone that they call upon, in a friendly or like bubbly type of way as things used to be when I was growing up. Okay. And so I was briefly watching somebody's video and they were saying how in other cultures, and it's so funny because I'm like tying things from here and there what I saw. Okay. So I remember I was watching an episode of Pop the Balloon, right? And it was this girl, and she said she was from Cameroon. Funny thing is, my ancestry goes back to Cameroon. But anyhow, Cameroon, if I'm saying wrong, but Cameroon. Yeah, she said she's from Cameroon, and then she was asking the guys who are lined up on the Pop the Balloon. She was like, "Do you have family, or do you have someone that you can talk to outside of therapy that actually helps you with your struggles or like your day to day like activities?" And the guys they didn't understand. They just did not understand the question she was saying. And she was like, no, no, no. I'm talking about, because she was like, like where I'm from, I don't understand the struggles that you Americans go through, because back where I'm raised, we have a village of people like family and friends of family that actually come and pitch in and want to help like babysit your kids or want to help you do this or that. You know what I'm saying? So here in America, she's like, I don't understand these dynamics because, this is how it is here. But here it's like everyone's so individualized that, everyone's just focused on their career, or they're so focused on what they're doing on social media that they no longer have community. And thus, I say, when you are here on this YouTube platform, you want to create content with the strategy of creating a community. You're not just making content for you. You listen, you are the vessel. Okay. Whatever gifts, talents, and abilities God has given you, you are the vessel, and you're just bringing it here as his vessel here onto YouTube. But you are serving his people by solving a problem through your videos. You're doing the same thing when you decide to you're like, hold on, I'm not going to wait for YouTube to monetize me. I don't know when YouTube's going to monetize me. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube is a here and there, fluctuation with the views or however the case may be. But you still want to be getting, monetized, getting funds for the efforts that you do. How do you do this? You do some products and services in the background. Okay. You want to give people a tool or something to go to in your description box to get your audience started with the trajectory that they want to go on, which is what I provide in each and every of my videos. Okay. Boom. As your digital design coach, getting you ready and prepared to have the confidence and the clarity that you need to get started on YouTube and to start your e-commerce platforms. Okay. Now, so once again, people used to have like solid friend groups and gatherings, and then this is how people would build community, right? I feel like nowadays people aren't doing so many gatherings. Oh yeah, like on TikTok, people be like, okay, so what happened to the folk who be outside cooking on the grill? What happens to folks grilling? What happens to folks doing that? Because people have been so self individualized that they it's just almost like people forgot to think about other people. That like literally, and it's so crazy because like today for instance, like I was in the car and I was like this dude was like stopped or whatever, and I was just like wave like you can go ahead, like I don't mind waiting, like you can go ahead. And he's just like he just started going like this with his mouth. So when people go like this with their mouth, I just like tune out and then I go about my business, because it's like I have this thing where yes, I can think of others, because it's like when you're so deep in your own investments in your own solitude, it's like you are subconsciously, I don't know if the word is subconsciously, maybe it's unintentionally. You're unintentionally pushing people away, and you don't even know that you're unintentionally pushing people away. Like sometimes, like let's say you haven't talked to a certain family member in a while, and then they'll be like, dang, did I do something? Is there like an issue? And you're like, no, I don't really have an issue, but it's because you're so fixated on what it is that you want to do with your career or whatever it is that you want to do on social media. You are unintentionally pushing people out of your life because you make them feel like there's no room for them. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I feel as if, you know, individualism and narcissism is being rewarded. And then we'll get a little bit deeper into that, right? So we act like we don't need each other when we're like, like I had this moment with my sibling, right? And my sibling said this statement to me, and it really pushed me back. It pushed me aback. I didn't like this statement that they said. And I ended up telling them, like, yeah, I didn't like when you said this, and this, because it makes like people are so fixated on this paper, right? People are so fixated on this paper, yet they make people feel like the dollar is more important than their family members. I'm just saying, like, I get it that everybody needs to have, resources, yet I just feel like, I don't know, maybe because I'm entrepreneurial minded, I just feel like you always have opportunity to get money, but you don't have as much opportunity to spend with family members as you think you do. Right. So that comment they said pushed me back. And I was just like, I don't really like that comment. I don't really like the shit. And then like, oh, I can see how you took it that way. But during this time I really needed this and that. It's like, yeah, but it's like even though you said that, but you don't see the importance in what I'm really saying. So okay, I'm gonna just let you have that one. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just cannot convince people on what you deem as important, because once again, this person is their own individual and you are your own individual. You cannot make people care about the things that you care about. Okay, here's that. You cannot make people care about the things that you care about. And I say that to say that's why people are starting to form more into individualism. Let me tell you something. So people got used to this loop of going to work, going home, going to work, going home, or they go to work, go work out, and they go home, right? Okay, boom. Now, see, I start to work out at home. So I don't go to no dang dog gym. I just work out at home. Okay, boom. So now that everybody's like going to work, they working out, they going home. Then what do they do in their free time? They go onto social media. So now that social media has been popping for a good amount of years now, I would say let's just do 13 years, because let's just say 13 years, probably 13 plus, but let's just say 13 years social media been popping, okay? And we've been seeing terms influencer, brand ambassador, and also now this new word streamer. Now, streamer is a little bit more new than the word influencer or like YouTuber and vlogger, right? Okay, boom. Or content creator. And people just call themselves streamers now. Okay, boom. I guess that's the thing now. So, anyhow, so the reason why people are going over to social media is because they want a whole new identity outside of their real world. And because they're so focused on creating this new identity, listen, this is how it leads to narcissism. Okay. I'm going to tell you how it leads to narcissism, because narcissism is literally fixating the narrative on how other people see you by selling your identity. Okay? Wait, hold on. Let me say that again. Let me make sure I got that point right. Yeah, so you're trying to control the narrative. So, like, let's say, for example, let's say you wanted to become a streamer. Okay, you're probably going to use what is that? Twitch. You're probably going to use Twitch, and then you're going to be fixated on posting all this content over here onto Twitch so that you can be seen. Your image is thus, right? So narcissism, they're fixed on an image. They just have this fixed image of themselves, and they're doing any and everything to make people get this perception of them as a streamer. This is how narcissism and individualism is turning into, this it's the new age of narcissism. But I'm gonna be for real. I feel like narcissism started mainly when people were constantly posting pictures of themselves. Like when Instagram was, everybody talk about how like Instagram was popping back when Instagram was popping, where we was doing MCMs or like follow trains or however the case may be over on Instagram. But I'm gonna be for real, and I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. When I started posting a lot of pictures of myself, I started to feel uncomfortable. Like I literally, I don't, what year was this? Like 2014. I started to feel uncomfortable. I'm like, this don't feel right. Like, why am I posting? It just didn't feel right to me. And then when I was going on to other people like Instagrams, and then you'll see people do the same pose, or like they start taking pictures of themselves through their phone, through the mirror, and then people was doing that. And I know that just became like the norm, but like there was a part of me, I was like, this kind of weird. This is kind of weird. And it definitely gave narcissism to me, right? So this is individualism. Everybody has their own profiles, and everyone's taking all these pictures of themselves, and then I'm like, oh my god, look at my life. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to a point like I think that's why I probably don't have a great relationship with Instagram. Y'all, like, even I try to make a new Instagram, and it's just like every time I try to make an Instagram, it just don't work out. It's just, it just, I don't like Instagram for some. I just feel like it's because I'm so big on substance, like as a person, I'm so big on substance. It's just like Instagram just doesn't give for me. And that's probably why I like YouTube so much too. But plus I've been on YouTube ever since 2011. But um YouTube just gives substance, and like everyone's like bringing something beautiful to this platform, and I know people are bringing things amazing to Instagram, but it just gives shallow, and I just like depth. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, let's go back to this. So, people are learning that individualism is starting to get rewarded. So, as we saw, so many people make YouTube channels and get YouTube plaques and get like brand deals and sponsorships, and we've seen people's lives change from being an average person to having a good amount of money in their bank accounts, from like Swoozy to Glozell, and I'm talking old school YouTubers if y'all know who I'm talking about. Latoya Forever. I think even Kevin Edwards is doing good now. He got like this other gaming channel and stuff with his son, or however the case may be. But yeah, everybody's seeing that like, yeah, doing YouTube is actually can be lucrative. But the crazy thing about it is, with like individualism for me is like, it just means a lot to me, and like autonomy and individualism, it means a lot to me. And then sometimes I do sit back and I'm like, yeah, I can see why people are lonely. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, sometimes I feel that. Sometimes I do feel that. And it's like you how do you say this, you unconsciously, like I said earlier, you unconsciously invite loneliness to like come around or something. I don't know, however. So it's almost like, but this is the thing though, because my brain goes over to like guys, where like it don't even gotta be social media. It could be like guys, and a guy is so fixated on like getting money, so that I don't know, for whatever reason why he's fixated on getting money, and it's almost like you know how like guys get married, and then they're so fixated on like, oh, trying to provide for the woman or the family, and then the woman starts to feel alienated, as if like there's no room for her. That's literally the same thing that you're like unconsciously doing. And then when people get divorced, then the guy is like, oh well, I was trying to provide, I was trying to provide, like literally. And some people are so fixated on providing, or so fixated on getting the dollar, it gives narcissism, to where you're only fixated on you, and you're not looking out to others to see if others need anything. You know what I'm saying? Or to check upon them. So that's why I'm saying, like, when we do social media, we have to still think of others as we are creating our platforms. Like, your aim is to make a community. So when you make videos with your strategy, you're taking their interests, you're taking their pain points, right? And you are discussing these things while also having a solution to their pain points. Okay. So, you guys' pain point, as you guys are being aspiring entrepreneurs, aspiring content creators, you're probably going to face some loneliness. Okay. People are probably going to see you as you think you're all that. People are probably going to have these projections about you, like you're a narcissist. But truthfully, all of us are narcissists. You want to know how all of us are narcissists? Because we are all fixated on an image. That's what narcissists pay attention to. They're fixated on self-promotion and this image that they want to uphold. That's what branding is. Okay, that's what personal branding is. It's creating this image that you want to project out to the world. Y'all get what I'm saying? So it's almost like narcissism is being rewarded. It's almost, that's why we're in this new era of narcissism. And honestly, how I see it, I feel like it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because, like I said, I like social media. And I just feel like social media is beautiful because we're in an era of and like people like to say this, oh, anybody can go viral or anyone can be known nowadays. You could just be an any old body, right? Okay, but that's the beauty in it though. That's the beauty in it. Why not take what it is that you know, what you can leverage, what your skills, what your abilities are, and own that thing. Okay? When you're making your channel, you're owning who you are. You're owning your talent. You're owning your skill, right? And you are representing an authority. You're going to be a new authority piece. As long as you believe it and you've written down who is your audience and who needs your words that you speak here on this platform, you are bound to get an audience. Okay? You are bound to get a community and you are bound to leverage your skills and earn money smarter versus harder. And let me tell you, doing YouTube is not an easy thing. And it's so funny because I saw somebody on TikTok saying, oh, remember back in the days that we used to have our favorite YouTuber and they would come on YouTube and they would post all the time and then now they don't post like that. Let me tell you, doing YouTube is a literal job. Like, okay, how can let me like equivalate this. I know that's not a word, but let me equivalate this to something. Being a YouTuber is almost like think of marketing, right? Because that's what you're doing here on YouTube. I don't know why this never correlated for me, but being on YouTube is literally you're marketing yourself to an audience so that people come back and watch you and subscribe, right? Okay, boom. So it's almost like you're at this marketing firm and you're freaking almost every head at the marketing firm. You're the writer. Okay, you're the visualizer. Okay, you're the editor. Like what? Yeah. And then folks will be like, how come my favorite YouTuber is not like posting anymore? Because this ish is exhausting. I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm just giving it to you real because like I said in one of my other videos, my past video that I just made. Yes, the video that I posted yesterday on Friday. Yes, and I just made a short for it. Back when I was, 2011, then I was watching other like more popular YouTubers at the time. So like Nikki and Gabby or like Remy Ashton or I wasn't really looking at J Loves Mac, but that's who I was watching at the time. Yeah. So, and I would watch them make videos like, oh, how to start YouTube. They never told you the real raw and honest truth of what it's like to create content, behind the scenes on YouTube and all of the thoughts, all of the real thoughts that you have as you're creating this content, like real human thoughts, like how other people would be like, oh, how do you get on camera? Like, I'm just going to start a faceless YouTube channel. Like, and I'm like, okay. But you don't, in my opinion, right? When you do a faceless, I'm not saying you can't do a faceless YouTube channel. I'm not saying it's not going to be successful. Okay, I'm not saying it because people are successfully creating faceless YouTube channels. But I feel like when you show your face on a YouTube channel, it's it makes people want to come back more. It just does. It makes people want to come back more because people just want to feel connected. That's all people want, real bad. And I started to notice something. Y'all know I always talk real life. But anyhow, I started to notice something like as of lately, when I like come out the house, it's like I just be feeling like folk are attention hungry. Like I just feel like folk are attention starved. And I'm like, yeah, folks are real life lonely out here. They losing connection. Nobody's paying attention to them. They don't feel seen. They don't feel heard. And I'm like, that's literally now that's not why I started YouTube. But when I kept doing YouTube, I swear that was one of the reasons why I started doing YouTube is because I wanted to feel heard. Not necessarily seen, because I always my whole life my whole life I feel like I was seen, but not heard. You know how they say, oh, if you're a pretty girl, you should just be seen and not heard. Yeah. But I got like it's just like I have to be both. I have to be seen and I have to be heard. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm on here and I encourage people to go ahead and start, their YouTube platforms. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever it is that you have knowledge on, I'm telling you, the next person may not know the things that you know. You know what I'm saying? And I have been told, like my perspective on things is definitely different, and like other people just don't see, like sometimes you have a different perspective than the next person, and when you actually sit there and you explain to people what your perspective actually is, they're like, oh my god, like I never thought of it that way, or I never seen it that way. You know what I'm saying? And you can be that person who does just that through your content. So anyhow, so like I said, so the narcissist is encouraged to focus on themselves. It's almost like everyone's telling it, like even with self-development, like especially if you found yourself like I said, how I help the unstuck, how I help the stuck, how I help the unsure, how I help the overwhelmed, like you're gonna feel like you need to go through like a personal development or a self-help journey. And everyone likes self-help because they don't like feeling the certain ways that they feel about themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so in order for people to start feeling better about themselves, they start focusing on themselves. They start tuning into themselves more, which is a beautiful thing. People start to work out, people start to understand themselves better, people start to uncover traumas, things of that nature. It's such a tremendous thing. Like literally I could cry. I literally could cry, but then on the other hand, it's like, dang, yeah, you did sit down and you did do this self-healing and everything, but like you did all of that with like nobody around. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you have to focus on you, but like, dang girl, like where the folks at? You know what I'm saying? Where your community at? You know what I'm saying? So I wanted that point to get across that like you seriously need community, and to keep community in the forefront of why you're even creating your content. Because the reason why the aspiring entrepreneurs feel stuck is because you are trying to create content from either a narcissistic place, or you're creating content from a place of wanting to be viral. And you don't need to do neither. That's not having true strategy. The true strategy is to think of others as you are creating content, because that way you'll have targeted content that a certain group of people will constantly come back to your videos over and over. And that's literally the point of YouTube. Everyone thinks that the point of YouTube is gaining subscribers. That's literally not the point. That's literally not the point of YouTube. Everyone think, oh, it's subscribers. That's literally not the point. Yes, you're going to gain subscribers along the way. You're going to gain a fan base along the way, right? But let me tell you something. When people follow you or when people subscribe to you, they fall off. They fall to the wayside and they stop watching your content for whatever reason. They life is busy. They don't like a certain video you post. This is why subscribers do not freaking matter. And people tend to be like, oh, well, you only got so many subscribers. It's not about the subscribers. It's about how long. It's about the retention rate of people coming back and how long they're staying on your video. That's literally it. That's literally it. And so you have to have a storyline. And this is branding. When you brand yourself, right, as a digital design coach, right, for e-commerce platforms and YouTube, when you brand yourself, your brand has to have a story. When you're doing YouTube videos, people are most likely sharing visuals or giving you audio to create a story, to create a mood, to create a feeling, right? To give off, to emit a certain kind of energy. And that's what I want you guys to start thinking about as you guys are creating your content. Okay? Your content must have strategy. You know how they say, oh, we need you to get a content planner. Oh, we need you to get a content schedule. Listen, it's literally less about the content schedule. It literally, even though I teach that in my Start Flow and Grow YouTube confidence course, even though I teach that, it's not even about the schedule. Yeah, it gives anticipatory or anticipation for your viewers, yes, but it's literally the strategy behind what you post. Because let me tell y'all something. A lot of y'all will be like me. This is why I felt called to come back to YouTube. Because once I learned what the heck I was missing, I'm like, you ever do something and you feel like you doing all the effort that you possibly could, but something is just not tying together? It's just like, it ain't giving you the result you want. So I asked myself, I said, dang, I spent all these years on YouTube. What was I missing? Well, one, I was missing consistency. Two, I was missing a direction. Okay. Three, I ain't had no folks that I was talking to specifically. I kept changing my niche. I went from singing videos to hair reviews to product reviews to travel vlogs, just all over the place. And then I would disappear and then come back 3 months later and then wondering why I don't got the results I want. Okay, that's why you got to sit down and plan. And then somebody has said something to me. I know who it was, but listen, somebody said something to me and they were like, oh, if I was having a conversation with someone and we started talking about YouTube and we were talking about who we watched on YouTube. And we found out that we literally watched the same people on YouTube. It's crazy. It's almost like alignment here, right? Okay, so we were talking about Tony. The reason why I'm laughing is because So the person I was talking about is a Caucasian lady. I was talking to her, and she was telling me Tony Gaskins is cute. So that's why the memory came up and I started laughing. But yeah, so we both watched Tony Gaskins at the time. This was pre-pandemic, right? Ooh, pre the pan, free the pan. Okay, free it up. Okay, anyway. So we were talking about Tony Gaskins and we were talking about Shira 7. Yes, we were already watching Shira 7 before she blew up on TikTok. Somebody took her videos and blew her up on TikTok. So anyway, she was saying that she watched them so much. And then I think we also watched this other girl named Aisha at the time. So, yeah, so we were talking about YouTube. And then she started saying, like, I'm thinking about starting my own YouTube channel. And then when she said that, I was like, guess what? And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. She was like, what? Yeah. And then she was like, okay. And then I just started giving her like little tidbits and little advice and stuff. But she gave me a piece of advice, right? And her piece of advice was like it was like she gave me a piece of advice, but like I didn't heed it until later. Like you ever in life you talking to somebody and they giving you a piece of advice, or they say something and you heard what they said, but it hit you further down the line. I have that so bad. I have that so bad, right? Okay. Where it's like, yeah, I heard what you said, but like that ish ain't kick in until real I dang dong needed it. You know what I'm saying? Or right before I need it, or right when I need. Oh yeah, I remember what such and such said. So anywho, she was like, I need to go home and I need to plan out my videos. I was never a video planner until I started taking this stuff seriously, right? Until I'm like, yeah, I gotta have this with strategy. And so, how I was able to do it with strategy, y'all. All right. So, we talked about the surge of self promotion, and we talked about how it makes you feel isolated from other people, right? Because you're so fixated on you. Community is what you need. But how I was able to get strategic with this thing is because I fixated on others by knowing who my audience is going to be. I knew what my solution. I started backwards. I'm gonna be for real. I'm so backwards. Other people will do it this way. I'm so backwards. I literally started this with a coloring book. I literally started this with a coloring book because in 2019, God sat me down before the pan, and he said, you need to create something of your own. I literally made a coloring book, and I was watching Tony Gaskins at the time too. And this is when Tony Gaskins said, you want to, now I'm trying to use the words he used and not my own words, but he basically said, you need to create something where you can not get fired from, right? To where nobody can lay you off, to where you can't get fired, to where if something happened at your job, because it's been way too many instances for me that where jobs will suddenly end, right? And so I got to this place and God was like, go ahead, do that coloring book, name it this, and this is your audience. Literally. So then when I sat down and I have the solution, so it's an affirmations coloring book for entrepreneurial spirits. And I had this conversation with one of my family members, which I've already shared, and they're so fixated on 9 to 5. And I was so fixated on entrepreneurship to where it kind of like gave some tension there. And I just wholeheartedly believe in autonomy. I wholeheartedly believe in, individuality. And I so gun for entrepreneurship, like leveraging the things that you naturally know and creating a platform where you're the authority, right? Period. And do that not give narcissism? I don't mind it. I don't mind it. That's why I say, oh, we're all narcissists anyway. So everybody's just like, oh, this person is narcissist. I'm like, and literally the other day I was watching, I'm going a little off tangent a little bit, just a little bit. Not that much. But literally the other day I was listening to a mindful attraction video, right? And you know how he likes to talk about Robert Greene and what's that book called? The laws, whatever, the laws, 48 laws. Yeah. So there was this tape of the 48 laws, and he's like, everyone is narcissistic. I said, that's what I said. That's what I said. You ain't have to tell me that. I like, that's what I said. Okay. So, anywho, with that being said, don't let the narcissism deepen so bad to the point where you are doing content solely based on you. You have to do content based on an audience who needs you as the solution. This is marketing. Okay? So, with that being said, y'all, if y'all looking for strategy and you need to know how to find an audience, how to pinpoint them, how to talk to them, what kind of language to use, what are they facing, what's going on in their life right now, how your products and how your services that you can create to target them so that they buy from you, so that you get money smarter, not harder. I have a template down in the description box. Go ahead and use it. Okay. So you can have strategy towards your content. It's called Align to the Signs Audience Solution Template. It is down in my description box, as well as the Find Your Why guidebook. Those two are supposed to be used hand in hand. Okay, because the guidebook is going to guide you with questions that ask you about the legacy, about the brand, about your brand's purpose, about the message, that you're going to speak to with this audience in mind. Okay, it's going to give you that trajectory, that strategic trajectory that you need as you are producing content, whatever, regardless if you're going to do it on YouTube or not. Okay, I have the tools down in the description box. I don't want y'all to be like me that was looping around for years, not having consistency, not having a strategy. And then years later, you wondering why this ain't work. Right? Because you had no momentum. You had no strategic momentum. You probably had some type of momentum, but wasn't consistent enough. You wasn't hungry enough. You didn't want it that bad. Right? And this the other thing too. I saw YouTube as a hobby. I saw YouTube as an outlet until I actually got mad one day. I literally got mad one day, y'all. And was like, why? How come these new folk coming onto the platform and they got this, and this? I'm like, I've been on this platform before all these folk. What's going on? Because I ain't had no strategy. Because I ain't want it that bad. Because I saw YouTube as a hobby and I didn't see it as a brand. I didn't see it as, a way to entrepreneurship. I just was having fun with it. It just was an outlet to me. And a lot of people do see YouTube that way. They just was like, oh, well, I don't want to take it that serious. It's just something I do on the side, something I do on the weekends. And, I just do my art or whatever it is that they do. They're like, I like talking my ish over here on YouTube on the weekends. I ain't really trying to take this in until you get mad one day. And until you get mad that one day. Okay. So I'm trying to keep y'all from being mad at yourself in the future. So make sure y'all go down below and get that Align to the Signs audience solution template. That template is free. The guidebook, the Find Your Why guidebook, the why, find the why and why you're doing what you're doing. Find the purpose, find the reasoning. Go deep is a deep-seated reason. It's not just because you want money. What is behind you wanting money? What is behind you wanting a legacy? What is behind you wanting a brand? What is it? And that guidebook is going to help you lay that out. That's why you need both of them hand in hand. Okay? So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all get the resources down in the description box. This was very impromptu. I didn't plan this out. I just saw a video and it just struck a chord. So anywho, make sure y'all like this video. Y'all comment down below. Comment anything you need to comment, boo. Period. And know that if I could leave y'all with a piece of advice without trying to cry. Okay. If I could leave y'all with a piece of advice, I'm noticing now that I'm getting older. Okay, like I said, I started YouTube when I was 17. I started YouTube when I was 17. I'm 30. So anyhow, if I could leave y'all with a piece of advice, if your life is not where you want it to be, it's probably because you don't have strategy. It's probably because you're not being intentional. And we want to refrain from not being intentional. All right. So be intentional. Get the resources down below. I'll see y'all in my next one. It's your girl, So Tree Accessory.